गंगाधर गिरिधारी शिष्य राधा विनोद बिहारी जो की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जो की जाय। नित्यल विष्णु विष्णुपाद रशत रशत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यल विष्णु विष्णुपाद रशत रशत स्मर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यल विष्णु विष्णुपाद रशत रशत स्मर भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल विष्णु विष्णुपाद रशत रशत स्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल विष्णु विष्णुपाद रशत रशत स्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल विष्णु महाभागवत श्रील गोरक्षरस बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्यल विश्व श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यल विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरी गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट विरत गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। तदीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। धन्यवाद प्रणाम श्री किशोर कृष्ण प्रभु चंपक माता जी Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, and Shubhananda Prabhu. And let's see on YouTube there is Raseshwari Mataji. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Okay, so we will start the Mangala Charan and Jaidvani. Hari Bol, Shubhananda Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरो करुणावतारो नमस्त्रिकालसत्याय जगन्नाथसुताय च सभृत्याय सपुत्राय सकलत्राय ते नमः। जय 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 विश्वम्भर द्विजराज जय विश्वम्भर प्रिय वैष्णव समाज गौरचंद्र जय धर्म सेतु महाधीर जय संकीर्तन मोय सुंदर शरीर जय नित्यानंदेर बांधव धन प्राण जय गदाधर अद्वैतेर प्रेम धाम जय श्री जगरानंद प्रिय अतिशय जय वक्रेश्वर काशीश्वर हृदय जय जय शिवासादि प्रिय वर्गनाथ Jiva prati koro prabhu shubha drishtipat. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jeno amriter khanda. Je katha shunile ghuche antar pashanda. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha bhai shuno ek chitte. Sankirtana aramba hoilo jeno mate. Oh, dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa, wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan pastimes is described. Tavaivasmi, tavaivasmi, na jivami tvaya vina, iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshaya, Shiptashtakama ditaranga madhe, Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore muro loko shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Veshakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal, Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal. Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima, Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima, Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhanter Sar, Likhiachen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar. Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan, Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Totokon. Manushe rachite nare aiche granta dhanya, Vrindavana dasa mukhe vakta Shri Caitanya. Vrindavana dasa pore koti namaskar, Aiche granta korite ho tarila sansar. Narayani Chaitanyer uchishta bhajan, Tar garbe janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan. तार की अद्भुत चैतन्य चरिता वर्णन, जहाँ श्रवण शुद्ध कोइल त्रिभुवन. सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार, वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृते धार. वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृते धार. Josh, oops, I forgot to read that end part there. One second. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they're described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Jai the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. All right, so we are now on chapter 10, conclusion of the Lord's Mahaprakash pastimes. And we're going to almost finish this chapter. There'll only be like 1,000 words left, but it's a little bit too much to read all today. So I don't know what we'll do tomorrow, but I can't I can't, before I used to, like, whenever we just have a little bit of a chapter left, I would just finish that off and then start the next chapter. But now, because I'm making these thumbnails for each section on YouTube, I don't like to break it up because it's difficult to fit 2 titles into a thumbnail. All right, so this chapter, I'm reading the what do you call it? Katha Sar by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. This chapter describes the conclusion of Mahaprabhu's Mahaprakash pastimes mentioned in the previous chapter, also known as Sat Prahariya Bhav, Mahaprabhu's 21-hour ecstasy, where Mahaprakash, the great manifestation, great revelation. This chapter also describes Mahaprabhu's exhibition in the form of Ram with his associates and awarding benediction to Murari Gupta, and the glorification of Haridas Thakur, Haridas Thakur's offering of prayers to Gauranga, the narration of Advaita Acharya's previous history, his changing the text of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's awarding various benedictions to the devotees, the Lord's first ignoring and then bestowing mercy on Mukunda, the influence of devotional service, the topics of Narayani, and the glories of Nityananda. So today we're going to be focusing on this part of the chapter, on the influence of devotional service. And we're going to stop right before it gets, like the verse before it gets to Narayani. Okay. So here's a more detailed synopsis. After awarding benediction to Sridhar, Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Acharya to ask for some benediction. Advaita, however, simply prayed to the Lord to award him his desired goal of life, but did not openly ask for any benediction. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu displayed the form of Sri Ram with his associates to Murari Gupta and reminded Murari of his previous identity as Hanuman. As Murari Gupta realized his own form as Hanuman, he fell unconscious to the ground. Later on, he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord and prayed for the benediction of being able to eternally serve Lord Caitanya and his associates, remember the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya, and sing the glories of Lord Caitanya. The Lord awarded this benediction to Murari and declared that anyone who blasphemes Murari will not be delivered even if he takes millions of baths in the Ganga and chants the holy names of Hari. Thereafter, the Lord revealed the meaning of the name Murari Gupta. Lord Murari forever resides secretly, Gupta, in his heart. Hari Bol, Ganga Mataji. And I see there's a few other people, Dandavat Pranams, whoever that is watching. God, it is extra chilly this morning. One second, I'm just gonna put a blanket on. Let's see. All right, I am back. Okay. Mahaprabhu then instructed Haridas to behold his form. Mahaprabhu declared that Haridas was more dear to him than his own self, and that he and Haridas belonged to the same family. On hearing the distress of Haridas, the Lord had descended from Vaikuntha with the Sudarshan chakra in his hand. But since Haridas desired auspiciousness for even his oppressors, the Sudarshan chakra desisted, and Mahaprabhu took the beating of Haridas on his own body. After exhibiting those marks of torture on his own body, Mahaprabhu further said that he was unable to tolerate the distress of Haridas, so he incarnated immediately. Lord Krishna, who is controlled by his devotees, does not know anything except his devotees. One who has no love for the holy names of Krishna, Krishna, who is so affectionate towards his devotees, is simply suffering the results of his own misfortune. On hearing the topics of the Lord's unlimited mercy, Haridas fell unconscious to the ground. Although he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord, he became agitated and began to cry. Thus he could not see the form of the Lord. With great humility, Haridas offered prayers to Mahaprabhu and said that the most merciful Gaurasundar never abandons even an insect who remembers his lotus feet, but he destroys even an emperor who does not remember his lotus feet. In this regard, Haridas cited the examples of Draupadi, Prahlad, Yudhishthir, who feared the curse of Durvasa, and Ajamil, and thus established the supremacy of Gaurasundar's affection for his surrendered devotees. After expressing his total incompetence, Haridas simply prayed to the Lord that he may develop a taste for honoring the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's servants, that this may be his only form of worship birth after birth, and that Mahaprabhu may keep him as a dog in the house of his devotee. Mahaprabhu, who constantly resides in the heart of Haridas, then awarded Haridas the benediction of pure devotional service devoid of offenses against Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, and declared, "Anyone who associates with Haridas for even a moment and has full faith in Haridas will certainly attain my lotus feet." It is taught in all scriptures that by hearing the glories of the devotees, one attains devotional service to Krishna. According to the opinion of some persons, Haridas is an incarnation of Brahma, and according to others, he is an incarnation of Prahlad. His association is desired by even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and his touch is desired by even the Ganga. Moreover, simply by the darshan of Haridas, one's bondage of fruitive activities from time immemorial is at once severed. In order to establish the supremacy of the Vaishnavas occasionally manifest the pastime of taking birth in a low-class family. Then Mahaprabhu reminded Advaita about his previous activities of explaining devotional service in every passage of the Bhagavad Gita, and then fasting and not finding the devotional meaning of some verse, seeing Mahaprabhu in his dream, and receiving the actual meaning of that verse and the instruction to break his fast. The Lord then reveals the proper meaning of the Bhagavad Gita verse beginning Sarvata Panipadam Tat. Śrī Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya's covert disciple, said that it was Lord Chaitanya's greatness that he is Advaita's worshipable Lord. Those who deny the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya and serve Advaita, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, by considering him the independent Lord, are actually offenders at the feet of Advaita. Their fate will certainly be like that of the 10-headed Ravan. Those who consider Advaita the foremost Vaishnav and the servant of Lord Chaitanya are actual devotees of Advaita and are qualified to attain the lotus feet of Krishna. This is Advaita's own statement. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu awarded desired benedictions to the assembled devotees. Up to this point, Mukunda was standing outside. When Śrīvāsa begged the Lord to bestow mercy on Mukunda, Mahaprabhu informed him that Mukunda was unqualified to receive his darshan because Mukunda associated with other sampradayas and shared the sentiments of those sampradayas. His mind and devotional service were unsteady. He was a kara jatiya. Kara means straw, like you hold a straw in your teeth in humility, and jati, right? Jati is a stick. Oh, it explains it, sorry. He was a kara jatiya because sometimes he held a straw, a kara, in his teeth, and sometimes he beat with a stick with a jati. Kara jatiya. To deny the supremacy of devotional service is like beating the Lord's body with a stick. On hearing this, Mukunda resolved to give up his body on that very day and requested Śrīvāsa to ask Mahaprabhu whether he would ever get his darshan. When Mukunda was informed that he would get the Lord's darshan after 10 million lifetimes, he forgot himself in ecstasy and began to dance. Then Mahaprabhu called him by his side and forgave all his offenses. Accepting his own defeat, the Lord said, "I eternally reside on the tongue of Mukunda." Haribol Sudevi Didi. Thereafter, Mukunda condemned himself for being devoid of devotional service and narrated the glories of devotional service and the formidable consequences of non-devotional life by citing his own example. Feeling embarrassed on seeing the repentant mood of Mukunda, I think this is where we're reading from today. Viśvambhara glorified the supremacy of devotional service. Mahaprabhu declared that he is the only destroyer of one's fruitive bondage resulting from the karma-kāṇḍa mentioned in the Vedas. He described the misfortune of the non-devotee washerman of Mathurā, and then awarded Mukunda the benediction that he would sing for the Lord in all his incarnations. Although Mahaprabhu regularly manifested various pastimes at the house of Śrīvāsa, the unfortunate fruitive workers, the mental speculators and sense enjoyers who were devoid of devotional service did not get the opportunity to see those pastimes. Only Lord Chaitanya's servants were qualified by the influence of their devotional service to see those pastimes. The prime example was the servants and maidservants of Śrīvāsa. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are eternal, and those who receive his mercy see them even today. Is that a Caitanya-bhāgavata verse? I wonder if we're going to be going through that today. How does it go? Adyapiha she lila kore gorarai, kono kono bhagyavan deki bari pai. Even today, the Lord's pastimes. Anyways, we'll see. By displaying his various forms according to the desires of his devotees, Mahaprabhu revealed that he is the source of all incarnations. Mahaprabhu then distributed the remnants of his flower garland and chewed betel nuts to the devotees. And this is what we'll be reading about tomorrow. Narayani, the niece of Śrīvāsa, receives the last portion of the Lord's remnants. That is why Narayani is famous in Vaishnava society as the recipient of Mahaprabhu's remnants. Even though she was only a young girl, by the order of the Lord, she cried in ecstatic love for Krishna. Thereafter, the author concludes this chapter by singing the glories of Sriman Nityananda. And it says, Mor Bandhua Gaur Guna Nidhiya. Oh, my dear friend, Gaur, the ocean of transcendental qualities. The word Bandhiya is the affectionate local word for Bandhu. I think this is not supposed to be here. Phrase Guna Nidhiya is an effect. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Anyhow. All right. So let's go to where we are reading. 243. Okay, let's go back a few verses just to get the flow of where we are. Okay, I'm not going to read all these prayers, but I just want to, definitely not going to read all these prayers because it's a lot. Let's just see from here. Okay, so the Lord said, after millions of births, he will certainly get my darshan. Mukunda will certainly get my darshan. As Mukunda heard this from the Lord, that he would certainly attain him, he became immersed in spiritual happiness. He began to enthusiastically dance while exclaiming, I will attain him, I will attain him, Paivo, Paivo. In this way, Lord Chaitanya's servant became overwhelmed with ecstasy. On hearing the statement, he will see me, Mukunda began to dance there in great happiness. On seeing Mukunda, Lord Viśvambhara smiled and ordered, bring Mukunda at once. All the Vaishnavas called, come Mukunda. But Mukunda was so happy that he did not know what was happening. The Lord said, O Mukunda, you are freed from your offenses. Come see me and take my mercy. By the order of the Lord, all the devotees brought Mukunda, who fell to the ground on seeing the Lord. The Lord said, get up, my dear Mukunda. You do not have even a fraction of offense. The faults of your bad association are vanquished. I have been defeated by you. I declare... I got something stuck in my tongue. Okay. I declare that you would achieve me after millions of births, but you have become freed. You've become freed from them within a moment. You are confident that my words are infallible. Thus, you have captured me in your heart forever. You are my singer, and you always reside with me. I was joking with you because you were a proper candidate. If you had actually committed millions of offenses, they wouldn't be considered offenses because you are so dear to me. You are my servant, and your body is filled with your devotional service. Bhakti moy tomar sharir. I constantly reside on your tongue. On hearing the Lord's solacing words, Mukunda cried profusely as he lamented and condemned himself. I'm so wretched that I have not accepted devotional service. Since I am devoid of devotional service, how will I become happy by seeing you? Duryodhan saw your universal form, which some people search throughout the Vedas to see. Yet even after seeing the universal form of the Lord, Duryodhan, along with his family, were all killed. He did not obtain any happiness because he was devoid of devotional service. And now Mukunda will give example after example of all these different demons and things who got to see the Lord. Like, let's read one other one. His brother Hiranyakashipu also saw a wonderful and most confidential manifestation of the Lord, who resides in the heart of Śrī Kamala Lakshmi. This wonderful form is renowned in the three worlds as Nisringadev. Yet even after seeing that form, Hiranyakashipu was killed because he was devoid of bhakti. In contrast to that, how are Kubja, the wives of the sacrificial Brahmins, the women of Mathurā, and the florists all able to see your form? They were able to see you simply due to their devotional service. Yet Kamsa was destroyed at the same place in spite of seeing your opulence. I disrespected such glorious devotional service with my mouth. It is your mercy that I am still alive. Okay, skipping some more. Where are we? 243. I am an insignificant creature, for I have not accepted such devotional service, which even Shiva, Brahma, they're all aspiring for. So what power do I have to see you? Then the great servant Mukunda raised his arms and cried. He breathed so heavily that his body began to shake. Mukunda was by nature an unalloyed devotee. How can I describe the extent of his glories? He's counted amongst the dear associates of Lord Caitanya. On seeing Mukunda's lamentation, Lord Viśvambhara became somewhat embarrassed and spoke to him as follows. Mukundera kheda dekhi Prabhu Viśvambhara lajita hoya kichu korila utar. Seeing Mukunda's lamentation, Lord Viśvambhara became somewhat embarrassed and spoke to him as follows. Okay, now we're continuing on from where we left off yesterday. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Mukunda was a natural devotee. Factually, he was a servant of unalloyed devotional service. Therefore, it is impossible for a person to find the limit of his glories. Sri Mukunda is counted among the dear devotees of Śrī Caitanya-dev. Mukunder bhakti mor boro priyankari, jatha gao tumi tatha ami avatari. Mahaprabhu said, Mukunda, your devotional service is very pleasing to me. I personally manifest wherever you sing. Gaudiya Bhashya. Wherever the holy names of the Lord are chanted with devotion, the Lord personally incarnates there in the form of his holy names. The Bhajananandi Mukunda is extremely dear to the Lord. Therefore, Lord Gaurasundar always incarnates wherever Mukunda sings. Tumi jata kohile shakal satya hoy, bhakti bina ama dekhile Bhakti bina ama dekhile o kichu noy. Whatever you said is indeed true, for one cannot achieve perfection without devotional service, even if he sees me face to face. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sri Gaurasundar said, O Mukunda, it is the supreme truth that if one wants to see me without devotional service, he will not see me. You'll see my Mayak form, right? Like Ravana was not able to see or touch the real Sita. So in the same way, we won't be able to. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved graham indriyai sevon mukhe hi jivado swayameva spuratyadha. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. If one is not inclined towards the service of the Lord, then instead of serving the object of service, one ends up serving unservable objects. It is stated in Harinam Chintamani. Namakshara bahirai bate, tabu namak kabu noy. One may vibrate the sounds of the holy names, but it may not actually be the holy names. The holy names and the Supreme Lord are non-different. Those who lack knowledge of the relationship between the servant and the object of service cannot cross the four objectives of life: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So they can't cross the four objectives of life and reach the platform of love of Krishna. As stated in the Padma Puran, Uttar-khaṇḍa, chapter 50. Chaturvina jata dipam yatha darpanameva cha samipastam napashyanti tata vishnun bahir mukha. As a blind person cannot see anything, even with the help of a lamp or a mirror, persons who are averse to Lord Vishnu cannot see him even if he stands before them. ए तोरे सत्य कहूँ बड़ो प्रिय तुमी वेद मुखे বলিয়াছি যত কিছু আমি যে কর্ম কইলে হয় যে দিব্য গতি তাহা ঘুচাইতে পারে কাহার শক্তি মুই পারো সকল অন্যত করিবারে সর্ববিধি উপরে মোহর অধিকারে. You are very dear to me. I am telling you the truth. Who has the power to nullify the various duties and their concomitant results that I have prescribed in the Vedas? It is I alone who can change these, for my authority is beyond all rules and regulations. Gaudiya Bhashya. It is certainly true that you are very dear to me, for you are always engaged in singing my holy names. The topics in the Vedic literatures that are prescribed according to the qualification of the karmis who desire the fruits of their activities, and the topics of the Upanishads, which are the head of the Vedas, that are prescribed according to the qualifications of the jnanis who desire liberation, are prescriptions that apply only to the respective karmis and jnanis. But my order is more powerful than all those rules and regulations. In the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it is stated, Daivadhinam jagat sarvam janma karma shubha shubham samyogascha viyogascha na cha daivat param balam krishnayatam chata daivam sa daivat paratastata bhajanti satatam santa paramatmanamishvaram daivam vardayitum shakta kshayam kartum svalilayana Daiva Baddhas Tadvaktascha Vinashi Cha Vinashi Cha Nirguna. Wait, where is this from again? It's from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. All activities of a human being are under the control of providence. What to speak of this? The entire world is under the control of providence. Birth, activities, the results of pious and impious actions, and the meeting and separation of all living entities are under the control of providence. Therefore, there is no force superior to providence. Yet Lord Krishna is greater than providence. Since providence is under the control of Lord Krishna, since providence is under the control of Lord Krishna, saintly persons worship Krishna who is the supersoul and the supreme personality of Godhead. Through his pastimes, Sri Krishna can diminish or expand this by providence. Therefore, the devotees of Lord Krishna are not bound by providence. They are imperishable and transcendental. Mui satya koriachon apanar muhe mor bhakti bina kono karme kichu nahe. I have established the fact that no activity is fruitful without bhakti, without devotional service. Gaudiya Bhashya. Without the service of the Lord, a conditioned soul cannot achieve any benefit through the performance of conditional or constitutional duties. I have personally established this fact. In other words, the principle is described in the Vedic literatures. The Kaivalya Upanishad states, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogar Avaiti. Faithful sadhaks attain Lord Krishna by meditating on his form with devotion. The Vedanta Sutra 3.2.24 states, Api samradhane pratyakshanumanaya, pratyakshanumanabhyam. According to the Shrutis and Smritis, the Lord becomes visible to those who worship him with love. In the Atharva Veda, the Gopal Tapani Upanishad 179, it is stated, Vijnana Ghanananda Ghana Satchidanandaika Rase Bhakti Yoge Tishtati. Sri Govinda, who is Satchid Ananda, always exists in the mellows of devotional service. In other words, he is attained only through devotional service. In the Mundaka Upanishad 3.18, it is stated, Jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvas tu tampashate nishkalam dhyayamana. If a pure-hearted, self-realized sadhak meditates through the knowledge of the scriptures on the unchangeable Supreme Lord, then he can directly see him. In the Vedanta Sutra 3.2.26, this is also described in the following words, Prakashascha karmanya abhyasat. Devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in the activities of devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4, it is stated, Shriya Satim Bhaktim Udasyate Vibho Klishyanti Yeke Valabho Dalabdaye Tesham Aso Keshala Eva Shishyate Nanyad Yatastula Tushava Ghatinam. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up that path and engages in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he'll simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat cannot get grain, one who simply speculates that person cannot achieve self-realization. His only gain is trouble. Shrama yeva kevala. All he gets is leish, like being an empty husks. Okay. Nasadayati mamuro na sankam dharma uddhava naswadhyayas tapastyago yata bhaktir manorjita. My dear Uddhav, the unalloyed devotional service rendered to me by my devotees brings me under their control. I cannot be thus controlled by those engaged in mystic yoga, Sankhya philosophy, pious work, Vedic study, austerity, or renunciation. In the Mathurā Shruti, it is stated, Bhaktir evainam nayati, Bhaktir evainam darshayati, Bhakti vasha purusho, Bhaktir eva bhuyasi. Hari Bo Rukmini Didi. Is the Mathurā Shruti written by Madhvacharya? Just looking that up. Oops. One second. Mathurā Shruti author. Okay. Can I have, this is a person. Okay, anyways. Okay. Sorry. Bhakti leads the jiva to the Lord and enables the soul to see the supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord is controlled by bhakti. Bhakti is the best of all. Okay, so bhakti evam nayati. Nayati means leads. And bhaktir evainam darshayati. So bhakti leads one to the Lord, to him. Bhakti darshayati, it shows one the Lord. And bhakti vasha, purusho. Bhakti controls vasha, the purushotam. Bhaktir eva bhuyasi. Bhakti is the best, best of all, bhuyasi. It's a really nice verse, isn't it? Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita 8:22, it is stated, Purusha sa para partha bhaktyalabhyas tvananyaya. O son of Pritha, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. In the Bhagavad Gita 11, verses 53 to 54, it is stated, Naham vedar na tapasa na danena na chejaya shakya evam vido drashtum drashtvan asimam drishtavan asimang yata bhaktyatvanyaya shakya aham evam vidorjuna gyatum drashtum chatatvena praveshtum chaparantapa. The form you are now seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am, my dear Arjuna. Only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:921, it is stated, Nayam Sukapo Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutta Jnaninam Chatmabhutanam Yata Bhakti Matam Iha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service. But he is not as easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. In his commentary on the Vedanta Sutra 3354, Sri Madhvacharya has quoted the following verse, Bhaktista paramo vishnus tataivainam vashe nayit tataiva darshanam yata pradadyan muktim etaya. Snehanubandho yastasmin bahumana purasara bhaktir ityuchate saiva karanam param ishitu. Lord Vishnu dwells in devotional service. The Supreme Lord Vishnu is controlled only by devotional service. Only through devotional service does he give his darshan to his devotees, and only by devotional service does he award liberation to the living entities. Intense affection for Lord Vishnu is called devotional service. This devotional service is the supreme method for attaining the darshan of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 136 and verse 139, it is stated, Bhakti Krishna Vashahoy Bhakti Tar Bhaji Ataiva Bhakti Krishna Prapter Upay. I didn't rhyme. I think I broke it up. I guess. Okay. Oh no, it's the one part of one line of one verse and another line of another verse. That's why. Krishna can be fully satisfied only by devotional service, and he is worshipped only by devotional service. The conclusion is that devotional service is the only means for approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Padma Puran, Uttarkhanda chapter 50, it is stated, Na dhanena samriddhena na vai vipulayadhiya, guessing, kena bhak, na vai viplay. Oh, I don't know how this is supposed to be broken up. Anyways, navai viploya dhiya e keno bhakti yogena samipe drishyate kshana. Sorry guys, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Toyam badvatu vastrena kritta karyam katam bhavet prapya deha vina bhaktim kriyate sa vritashrama bahubhyam sagaram tartum yarvan mukko vanchati sangsara sagaram tarvad Vishnu bhaktim vina nara. Lord Vishnu does not give his darshan to those who have vast wealth. He does not give his darshan to those who are born in aristocratic families. He does not give his darshan to those who have vast knowledge, but he gives his darshan in a moment to those who are engaged in devotional service. Just as a person is unable to bind water with cloth, if after attaining the human form of life, the living entity does not engage in devotional service, he is unable to attain liberation and his labors go in vain. As a foolish person tries to cross the ocean by swimming, only a foolish person tries to cross the ocean of material existence without engaging in devotional service to Vishnu. What was that from? That was from the Padma Puran. Okay. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14-22, it is stated, Dharma satya dayopeto vidyava tapasanvita mar bhaktya petamatmanam na samyak prapunatihi. Neither religious activities endowed with honesty and mercy, nor knowledge or obtained with great penance can completely purify one's consciousness if they are bereft of loving service to me. Okay, verse 50. 250. Bhakti na manile hoy mor marmaduk, mor duke ghuche tar darashana sukh. If one does not accept devotional service, I feel aggrieved at heart, and as a result, he is obstructed from seeing me. Haribo, Rukmini Didi, and Nitai. Nitai, Haribo. Okay. Gaudiya Bhashya. I feel greatly aggrieved to see the speculative process of those who have no knowledge about the relationship between the servant and the object of service described in the Mundaku Upanishad. That which brings dissatisfaction and unhappiness to me is not devotional service. Failing to achieve my darshan, the non-devotees cannot see my personal form. They are perpetually bereft of my darshan because they maintain impersonal conceptions. Due to foolishness, they follow mundane conceptions, and without understanding the need for having darshan of the seer and the object of sight, they accept the philosophy of monism as the goal of life. Therefore, they simply become perpetually bereft of the happiness of serving the form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Rajake o dekilo magilo tar thai, tatapi vanchita hoilo jate premanai. Even though the washerman saw me, when I asked him for something, he was deceived because he had no devotion. Gaudiya Bhashya. When Krishna was wandering in Mathurā, he was seen by King Kamsa's washerman. When the washerman refused to give Krishna clothes and flower garlands, Krishna was compelled to kill him. This is a result of seeing the Supreme Lord without devotion. Since Mukunda had an abundance of love, he was able to see the Supreme Lord. If he had no love for the Lord, he would not achieve the happiness of seeing the Lord for millions of lifetimes. Amade ki bare she koto tapa koilo, koto koti deho she rajaka chadilo. Paile ka mahabhagye mor darshan, na pailo sukha bhakti shunyer karan. Bhakti shunya jane mui na kori prasad, mor darshan sukh tar hoy bad. That washerman underwent austerities for millions of lifetimes in order to see me. Even though out of great fortune he achieved my darshan, he did not obtain any happiness because he was devoid of devotional service. He is devoid of bhakti. I do not show any compassion to those who are devoid of bhakti. Therefore, they are bereft of the happiness derived from my darshan. Gaudiya Bhashya. One cannot have darshan of the Lord if he is less fortunate. It took the washerman millions of births to achieve the Lord's darshan. Yet, because he was not inclined to the service of the Lord, he could not obtain the Lord's mercy. I am never pleased with those who are devoid of devotional service. Even if karmis, on the strength of thousands of pious activities, achieve my darshan, they cannot achieve my mercy. Therefore, even if they achieve my darshan, they are cheated from the happiness derived from my darshan. Bhakti stane aparad, koile ghuche bhakti, bhaktir abhabe ghuche darshana shakti. If one commits an offense to devotional service, his devotion is vanquished, and one who is bereft of devotion achieves no benefit from my darshan. Gaudiya Bhashya. One who becomes an offender by opposing devotional service can never develop the propensity for service. Being thus cheated of the service attitude, his darshan of the Lord goes in vain. Other than those other than those who are inclined to the service of the Lord, no one can possibly achieve happiness from the Lord's darshan. Since others consider the Supreme Lord as an object of enjoyment, they lack a service attitude. They lack a service attitude and are unable to achieve eternal happiness, which is the actual fruit of the Lord's darshan. Jatika kohila tumi sabamor kata, tomar mukhete kena asibo anyatha. Whatever you said has been spoken by me. Otherwise, how could those statements come from your mouth? Gaudiya Bhashya. O Mukunda, you have simply repeated my words. Because you are an unalloyed devotee, no statement other than the truth can come from your mouth. Bhakti bilai mumui, bolilo tomare, age prem bhakti dilo tor kantha sware. I tell you that I was distributing devotional service. I tell you that I will distribute devotional service. I have already imparted love and devotion unto your voice. Bhakti bilai mumui bolilo tomare, age prem bhakti dilo tor kantha sware. Gaudiya Bhashya. A living entity cannot engage in the service of the Supreme Lord through his false ego. The principal criteria for the living entities to become inclined towards the Lord's service is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Mahaprabhu said, O Mukunda, I have made you eligible for loving devotional service. I will certainly preach devotional service throughout your kirtan. যত দেখো আছে মোর বৈষ্ণব মণ্ডল, শুনিলে তোমার গান ত্রবায়ে সকল. The hearts of all Vaishnavas melt while hearing your singing. Gaudiya Bhashya. As all the devotees of Vishnu who follow me hear your devotion-filled songs, the hardness in their heart softens. Amar jemon tumi balaba ekanta, e mata ho tore shakala mahanta. As you are extremely dear to me, may you become similarly dear to all the Vaishnavas. Gaudiya Bhashya. As you have become dear to me on the strength of your unalloyed devotional service, may you also become similarly dear to my devotees. Okay. Jekhane hoy mor avatar, tathai gayan tumi hoibe amar. Wherever I incarnate, you will accompany me. You will accompany me as my singer. Gaudiya Bhashya. You are my eternal companion, and you always sing for me. Wherever I incarnate, you will appear as my associates to sing the glories of Harinam. Mukundera eto jadi varadana koilo, mahajai jai dhvani tokhoni hoilo. When the Lord awarded this benediction to Mukunda, a tumultuous sound of joy was heard everywhere. Hari bolo, jai Jagannath. Hari boli nivedai judi dui hat. Everyone folded their hands as they chanted, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Jai Jagannath. Mukundera stutivara shuni jai John. She muk. I'm sorry. Sorry. I think I need to stand up now. Let me just unplug this. Yeah, I actually, last night for Jumna Babaji Maharaj, he slept in my bed and he was snoring the whole night. It was a pretty rough night. Okay. All right. Mukunder Stutivara Shuni Jai Jan. She Mukunder Shane Hoibo Gayan. Anyone who hears Mukunda's prayers and the benediction awarded to him will become a singer with him. She Mukunder Shane Hoibe Gayan. Hoibo Gayan. Anyone who hears Mukunda's prayers and the benediction awarded to him will become a singer with him. Eshav Chaitanya Kata Veder Nigura Subudhi Manaye Iha Namanaye Mura. These topics of Lord Chaitanya are confidential to the Vedas. Intelligent people accept them, whereas fools deny them. Shunile esava kata jar hoy sukh avashya dekhibe she Chaitanyer mukh. One who gets pleasure by hearing these topics will certainly see Lord Chaitanya face to face. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who achieve happiness on hearing the conversation between Gaur and Mukunda are certainly eligible to see the form of Śrī Caitanya-dev. E mata joto joto bhakter mandal, je koilo stutivar pailo shakal. In this way, all those devotees who offered prayers, they received benedictions. Śrīvāsa pandita ati mahamahodar, ataeva tana grihe esa vihar. Śrīvāsa Pandit was most magnanimous. Therefore, these pastimes took place in his house. Jar jeno mata ishta prabhu apanar, she dekhe Viśvambhara, she avatar. The devotees each saw Viśvambhara in whichever incarnation they most adored. Mahaparakash ihare she boli, e mata kore gora chandra kutuhali. These wonderful pastimes of Gaura Chandra are known as his Mahaprakash, or Great Revelation. E mata dine dine prabhur prakash, sapatnike dekhe shab Chaitanya das. In this way, all of Lord Chaitanya's servants and their wives saw the Lord reveal himself day after day. Deho mane nirvisheshe je hoyen das, she dekite pai e shab vilas. Anyone who renders service to the Lord with his body and mind is able to see these pastimes of the Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. If one is infested with material conceptions, he cannot understand the topics of the Lord's pastimes. But persons who are indifferent to external vision and devoid of material conceptions, that person can see the Lord's pastimes. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 7.2.42, it is stated, Yesham sa esha bhagavan daya yedananta sarvatmana shrita-pado yadi nirvyalikam te dustaram atitaranti cha deva mayam naisham mamahami iti dhi swashrigala bhakshe. But anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, due to unalloyed surrender unto the service of the Lord, that person can overcome the insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand the Lord. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the ends of which is meant to be eaten at the ends by dogs and jackals, cannot do so. In the Mukunda Upanishad 3.2.3 and the Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, it is stated, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo na medhayana bahuna shrutena yame vaishavrinute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vrivinute tanusam. The Supreme Lord is not obtained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, nor even by much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. It's an important verse. She navadvipe ar koto ache tapasvi sannyasi gyani yogi maje maje javat kal gita bhagavata sabe pore kehova porai karo dharma nahi nade. Many tapasvis, sannyasis, jnanis, and yogis lived in Navadvip. They studied or taught Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam for their whole lives. Yet, they did not change their religious practices. Gaudiya Bhashya. Many ascetics, renunciates, impersonalists, and yogis studied Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in the city of Navadvip, and then taught these literatures to others. Yet they did not retire from the respective cherished religious principles of undergoing austerities, renunciation, endeavoring to merge with Brahman, and realizing the Supersoul. Keho parigraha kichu nahi loy, prita akumar dharme sharir shoshai. Some of them vowed not to accept anything from others and shriveled up their bodies by uselessly observing celibacy. Gaudiya Bhashya. Some people took severe vows like that observed by Bhishma and passed their lives in bodily misery by following from childhood the vow of celibacy. Others took severe vows not to accept anything from anyone. Yet because they did not realize the supremacy of devotional service, all their activities simply became miserable. She khane hino vaikunter sukha hoilo, Brita abhimani eka jana na dekhilo. But none of those useless, proud persons could see that the happiness of Vaikuntha had manifested there in Navadvip. They couldn't see it, even though they were right there. My God. Gaudiya Bhashya. No one who is intoxicated with the burden of material pride could achieve the transcendental happiness of Vaikuntha that manifested for the Lord's appearance at Śrīvāsa Angan. Śrīvāsa dasa dasi jahare dekhilo Shastra poriya o keho taha na janilo. Although the Lord was seen by the servants and maidservants of Śrīvāsa dasi jahare dekhilo, he could not be known by those persons despite their study of the scriptures. Shastra poriya o keho taha na janilo. Gaudiya Bhashya. In spite of achieving proficiency in the scriptures, the teachers who were engaged in their study and recitation of the Vedas could not see Lord Gaurasundar. But the servants and maidservants of the foremost Vaishnav, Śrīvāsa, were easily able to see that supremely rare object of vision. Murari Gupter Dase Jay Prasad Pailo Keho Mata Muraiya tahana dekhilo. Dhane kule pandite Chaitanya nahi pai. Kevala bhaktir vasha Chaitanya Goshai. The mercy received by the servants of Murari Gupta could not be seen by shaving one's head. One cannot achieve the mercy of Lord Chaitanya by wealth, high birth, or scholarship. For the Lord is controlled only by bhakti, by devotional service. That's a beautiful verse. Gaudiya Bhashya. Persons who were engaged in activities like atonement or shaving their heads, and brahmacharis and sannyasis who kept their hair, they were unable to achieve the good fortune of attaining the Lord's mercy that the servants of Murari Gupta attained, even without displaying such humility and frugality. Many people think that the richest man is the topmost Vaishnava. Some people think that if one can take birth in an aristocratic family, he can achieve the mercy of Śrī Caitanya. Yet others think that if one achieves proficiency in the scriptures, he can control Chaitanya Dev. But Śrī Caitanya Dev is never bound or controlled by such worldly glories. The devotees, however, control Śrī Caitanya Dev with love through their unalloyed devotional service, even though they do not possess such glories. Poro kirta hoile Chaitanya nahi pai, bhakti vasha sabe prabhu chari vede gai. By popular acclaim, one cannot achieve Śrī Caitanya. The four Vedas declare, the Lord is controlled only by devotional service. Gaudiya Bhashya. Even if one accumulates name and fame by making many disciples, by organizing many Vaishnava gatherings, and by performing welfare activities for people like constructing many temples, so even if one does all this, one does, I think it should say, does not achieve the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Dev. I think it's supposed to be negative. One does not achieve the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Dev. The four Vedas declare that Śrī Caitanya Dev is controlled only by the non-duplicitous loving devotional service. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 799, it is stated, Manye dana bijana rupatapa shrutaujas teja prabhava balapurushat buddhi yoga naradhanaya hi bhavanti parasya pungso bhaktya tutosha eva bhaktya tutosha bhagavan gajayutapaya. One may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic power. But I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. Gajendra did this, and thus, Gajendra did this. Where did I see this? Sorry, guys, this is a real struggle for me. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in Chaitanya Mangal, it is stated. Okay, now I need to stand up. Thank you, guys. Okay. What's the meter for this? I think this is Vandeham. No, it's not. Anyways, I'm just gonna do anything. Vyadayasya charanam druvasya vayo vidya gajendrasya kakubjaya kimunam adhikam kim tat sudamodhanam Vankshako vidurasya yadavapate ugrasya kim porusham Bhaktya tushyati kevalam na chagu na chagunar bhakti priyo madhava. Sorry, I didn't say the right meter. Did the hunter named Dharma have any piety? Did age disqualify the 5-year-old Dhruva? Did Gajendra, who lived by Trikuta mountain, possess any learning? Did Mathura's Kubja, the maidservant of Kamsa, have any beauty? Um, did did Sudama Brahman, the friend of Krishna, have any wealth? Did the social status of Vidura disqualify him? Did the prowess of Ugrasen, the king of the Yadus, disqualify him? Madhav was pleased with their devotional service. He is not pleased by material qualities. We're getting close to the end. Shei Navadvipaheno Prakasha Hoilo Jato Bhattacharya Eka Jane na Janilo. Such revelations took place in Navadvip, yet none of the Bhattacharyas knew about this. Gaudiya Bhashya. Being puffed up with the prestige of scholarship, the society of learned scholars monopolized the glories of Navadvip, yet they were unable to understand the appearance and activities of Lord Gaurasundar. दुष्कृतिर सरोवरे कबू जल नहे एमन प्रकाशे की वंचित जीव होए. There can never be any water in the miscreant's reservoir. Otherwise, how could a living entity be cheated out of seeing such revelations? Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who are unfortunate consider their misfortunes to be assets as great as unfathomable. Those who are unfortunate consider their misfortunes to be assets as great as unfathomable bodies of water, while it should be understood that such vast bodies of water are actually devoid of water. The reason for this is that one who is deprived of seeing the manifest pastimes of Śrī Caitanya-dev is as shelterless as a fish out of water. In Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, in Śrī Caitanya Chandramrita 5:36, 34, 35, it is stated, a person who does not take advantage of the nectar of devotional service overflowing during the presence of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's cult is certainly the poorest of the poor. The advent of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is just like an expanding ocean of nectar. One who does not collect the valuable jewels within this ocean is certainly the poorest of the poor. The advent of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is just like an expanding ocean of nectar. One who does not merge in that ocean certainly merges in a great ocean of anarthas. Wow, full verse. Sorry, now we're on verse 282. We're reading up to 288. Eshav lilar kabu nahi pariched avirbhav tirobhav ei kohe ved. Although the Vedas describe the Lord's appearance, the Lord's avirbhav, and the Lord's disappearance, the Lord's tirobhav, there is actually no end to his pastimes. For example, it's like the sun. The sun, you wouldn't say that when it gets dark out, that the sun ceased to exist. It's just not seen by me, but it's now seen by people in a different part of the world. So in the same way, even though we don't always see Krishna's pastimes, they're not always manifest before our vision, Krishna is going from universe to universe to universe, and they're constantly going on, right? Gaudiya Bhashya, the variegated pastimes of Sri Gaurasundar are not like the ordinary activities of a living entity who is forced to accept the fruits of his karma. Since the activities of the Lord are eternal, one should not consider that simply because they appear and disappear, that they are under the clutches of material time. It is stated in the Gopal Tapani Uttarakhanda, Avirbhav Tirobhav Swapade Tishtati. Although the Lord appears and disappears, he eternally resides in Goloka. Adyapiha Chaitanya Eshav Lila Kore Jokhone Jahare Kore Drishti Adhikare Shei Dekhe Ar Dekhi Bare Shakti Nai Nirantar Krida Kore Chaitanya Goshai. Lord Chaitanya performs these pastimes even today, Adyapiha. Adya. Yeah. Only when the Lord gives one the ability to see these pastimes can one see them. Others have no ability to see Lord Chaitanya's eternal pastimes. Gaudiya Bhashya. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are eternal. Whenever one's good fortune is awakened, he is able to see those pastimes. It is not that the ever-existing pastimes of Śrī Caitanya appear in this material world under the control of time. If one's heart is filled with devotion and he desires to serve the Lord, then he can always nourish the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya. These topics are always understood by the servants of Śrī Caitanya Math. The vision of the karmis and prakrit sahajas who are averse to Śrī Caitanya, Śrī Gaurasundar's teachings, and the Gaudiya Math. So their vision is incapable of perceiving the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya, the vision of the karmis and prakrit sahajas. In the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Purva 391, it is stated, Ched Dridriksheran. I think this is broken up strangely again. I don't know. Ched Dridriksheran Utkantartha Nija Priyatam Tam Leelam Tatah Krishno Darshayat Tan Kripanidhi. Even today, if one of his dear devotees intensely desires to see one of his particular pastimes, the merciful Lord immediately exhibits that pastime for him. Jai Ho. That's beautiful. It's a very hope-giving. Gaudiya Bhashya. The pure devotees always see Śrī Caitanya Dev's pastimes of chanting the holy names of Krishna. People in this world who are intoxicated with material enjoyment have no power to see the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya. Wait, this is... Okay, everything's okay. 285. This is the last three verses. Jai mantrete jai Vaishnav ishta dhyana kore she mata dekhaye Thakur Viśvambhare. A devotee sees Lord Viśvambhara according to the mantra he invokes while meditating on his worshipable Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Supreme Lord, the embodiment of pastimes, expands his eternal pastimes in his innumerable forms while residing in Mahā-vaikuṇḍha. In order to see any particular pastime, persons who desire deliverance from their mental concoctions may chant the appropriate mantra to see the Lord's corresponding pastime. Śrī Caitanya Dev manifests in different forms before different devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita 4:11, it is stated, "As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly." According to this verse, Śrī Gaurasundar exhibits various forms of Vishnu, the embodiment of pastimes, to his various categories of devotees. From this, one should not think that Viśvambhara is not Vishnu. It is not that while seeing the deity forms of demigods other than Vishnu, that one should not consider them as forms of Vishnu. In demigods other than Vishnu, however, there is a lack of completeness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:9-11, it is stated, Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ase shutekshita pato nanunata pungsam yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattarvapu pranayase sad anugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing. They can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. Wow, this is a nice verse. You are so merciful. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Wow, I really like that verse. That's from Srimad Bhagavatam 3:9-11. Tam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja se shutekshita pato nanuna nata pungsam yadyadhiya tarurugaya vibhavayanti tattarvapu pranaya se saranugrahaya. I want to memorize that one. Okay, in the Vedanta Sutra 3.2.13, it is stated, Appi chaivam eke It is also taught that although the Lord is one, he has innumerable forms. In the Vedanta Sutra 3.2.35, it is stated, Sthana Visheshad Prakashadivat. As the sun rays are perceived differently in different places, the Lord is also perceived in various ways. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, it is stated, Ye yata mam prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. In the Tantra Sar, it is stated, Yadrisha bhavitas tvishas tadrisho jiva abhajet. The Lord reciprocates with the living entities according to how they worship him. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 3.112, 4.19, and 5.133, it is stated, it is stated that the essence of the meaning of this verse is that Lord Krishna appears in all his innumerable eternal forms because of the desires of his pure devotees. According to this verse, the Lord reciprocates with the living entities according to how they worship him. This verse from Tantra Sar, right? Yeah. So Krishna appears in all of his innumerable forms because of the desires of his pure devotees. In whatever transcendental mellow my devotee worships me, I reciprocate with him. That is my natural behavior. Therefore, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. Okay. We're getting, oh my God, time's almost finished. Let's see. We'll be able to finish totally in time. There's no more purports. Okay. Dekhaiya apane shikai sabakare, eshakala katha bhai shune pache are. In this way, he manifests himself and teaches all his devotees, and they, in turn, teach these topics to others. Gaudiya Bhashya. By displaying the pastimes of Vishnu's various incarnations, Mahaprabhu taught his devotees that he was the fountainhead of all incarnations. Those who realized this imparted it in turn to others. Janma janma tomra paile mor shanga, toma sabakar bhrite o dekhibe mor ranga. O Mukunda, Mahaprabhu says, you have my association, birth after birth. Even all your servants will see my pastimes. Gaudiya Bhashya. When the Lord performs his pastimes in this world, his associates come with him and engage in his service. Persons who are counted as servants of those associates also receive the opportunity to realize those pastimes of the Lord. I know this verse, but where do I know it from? Anyways, interesting. Apanar golar mala tila sabakare charvita tambula agya hoilo sabare. Thereafter, the Lord gave his garland and betel remnants to everyone. Okay, so that's where we're reading up to today. And then we just have a few verses left in this chapter, but time's up already, so we'll finish this tomorrow. I can just read the translations though, because we'll still finish before it's time, on time. After receiving remnants from the mouth of the Lord, whose face resembled millions of autumn moons, all the devotees ate them in great ecstasy. The fortunate Narayani received the remnants after the Lord finished eating. The innocent young girl Narayani was the daughter of Śrīvāsa's brother. The Lord gave her his remnants. All the Vaishnavas blessed her as she joyfully ate the Lord's remnants. She is indeed glorious because she engaged in Narayan's service. Although she was a child, her life became glorious. After she ate the Lord's remnants, the Lord ordered her, "O Narayani, let me hear you cry in ecstasy for Krishna." Lord Chaitanya's order has such potency that the innocent young girl began to cry while calling out the name of Krishna. Even today, it is well known in Vaishnav society that Narayani was the recipient of Gauranga's remnants. Avashish Patra Narayani. Whoever was called by Lord Caitanya immediately came before him. Know for certain that one who does not believe these topics will inevitably fall down. Lord Caitanya is the dear Lord of Advaita. This increases Advaita's glories. Lord Nityananda is very dear to Lord Caitanya. Therefore, the four Vedas sing his glories. If a person is not recognized as a devotee of Lord Caitanya, then even if he is exalted, he is no better than straw. Nityananda declared, I am the servant of Lord Caitanya. Day or night, he did not say anything to the contrary. By his mercy, one attains attachment for Lord Caitanya. Simply by worshipping Lord Nityananda, one will not face danger anywhere. Sri Gaurasundar is the Lord of my Lord. I always keep this conviction in my heart. He is the Lord of my Lord. Of my Lord Nityananda, Gaurasundar is the Lord of him. I always keep this conviction in my heart. O Lord Gaurachandra, please allow me to serve the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, who as Ananta Shesh holds all the universes on his heads. I sing the glories of Lord Caitanya for the pleasure of Balaram. Lord Balaram is always engaged in the welfare of the world. Nitai does not know anything other than the service of Lord Caitanya. He always distributes the service of Lord Caitanya to others. By the mercy of Nityananda, one can know Gaurachandra and understand the science of devotional service. Lord Nityananda is dear to all the Vaishnavas, for they achieve the platform of devotional service by his mercy. If a person somehow or other disrespects Nityananda, then Lord Caitanya himself declares, he is ruined. Even the original Lord, great yogi, controller, and topmost Vaishnava, does not know the limit of Nityananda's glories. One who chants the names of Krishna without blaspheming anyone will easily conquer the unconquerable Lord Caitanya. All the scriptures declare nothing is achieved through blasphemy. Bhagavad Dharma teaches one to offer respects to others. The topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa are just like nectar, yet the atheists consider them as bitter as nimba. If someone considers a taste of sugar candy to be bitter, then that is his misfortune, for sugar candy never loses its sweetness. In the same way, one does not feel happy hearing the blissful glory. In the same way, one who does not feel happy hearing the blissful glories of Lord Caitanya, it's only due to misfortune. Know that if even a sannyasi does not accept Gaurachandra, then that crooked person remains blind, birth after birth. Even if a bird chants Lord Chaitanya's names, it will certainly attain Lord Chaitanya's abode. Even if a bird get a parrot to say Jai Chaitanya, it will attain Lord Chaitanya's abode. All glories to Gaurachandra, who is the life of Nityananda. May your Nityananda be my life and wealth. Wow, that's a beautiful one. Tor Nityananda mor ho pranadhan. Wow, and he's speaking in Tui. I offer my respectful obeisances at the feet of those with whom you enjoyed pastimes. Accepting Śrī Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. All right, so we will read those verses tomorrow. So we have a very short reading tomorrow. Is today, Kishore Prabhu, is today Lochandas Thakur's appearance day in America?
It is indeed.
Because we're out of time. Maybe it's 8:33 now. So maybe we could read about Lochandas Thakur tomorrow. I was hoping you're going to say it's tomorrow. But anyways, I think we can just say Lochandas Thakur ki jai today, and then we can read his glories tomorrow. So, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. That part with Narayani is just one of the most beautiful things, isn't it? Like one of the most heart-melting things. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to start with that tomorrow. All right, Kishore Prabhu, could you do Jaidvani? Oh, and Hari Bol, Hari Priya Didi. Yeah, Kishore, could you do Jaidvani?
जय निताय जय सब्रिकार शेषी गुरु गौरंग गण हरिका गिरिधरि राधा विनोद बिहरि राधा नयनाथ राधा रमन बिहरि राधा माधव शिशि राधा कृष्ण चंद्र जीव की जय हरि गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जीव की जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णु पार परमहंस ब्रेव रजगचार्य वर्यस्तो दृष्ट शिशुमान भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद परमहंस ब्रेवरजगसार वर्यस्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिविराम नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पति पावन श्रील गुरुदेव की जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिविराम वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिविराम त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद शिल गौरगुण स्वामी महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद शिल भक्ति स्वरूप डमदार महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद शिल भक्ति वैभाग पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद शिल भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद शिल भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति द्वैत माधव गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान जगद्गुरु श्री वृषभानावि द्वैत दास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद स्वाप्रिकार शील प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस अष्टोत्तर शिशुमार गौर किशोर दास बाबूजी महाराज की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी अष्टोत्तर शिशुमार और सचिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की नत्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वोम अष्टोत्तर शिशुमार जगन्नाथ भविष्य महाराज की सूर्य कुंदवासी सिद्ध शिल मधुसून दास भविष्य महाराज की श्री उद्रविदास उदरान दास की करविदान आचार्य शिशुमार बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की महामहोपरिर्याय रसिक शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पाद की शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर शुभ आविर्भाव महामहोत्सव की जय शिल लोचन दास ठाकुर की हिताय प्रिय शिल लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय श्री नरहरि शर्कर ठाकुर की जय शिल नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की शील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की यशवदार अर्कावेशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की श्री अष्ट कविराज वसुर जानव नित्यानंद द्वर्ष गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन पत्त रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ शर गोस्वामी प्रभु की श्री स्वरूप दामदार रय रमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ अधि गौर परिषद वृंद की नमाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुरी गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री ईश्वर परिपाद की श्री माधवेंद्र परिपाद की जय श्री अंडरदीप मायपुर समनदीप गौद्रुमदीप मध्यादीप कलुदीप ऋतुदीप जानुदीप मातृ द्रुमादीप रुद्रदीप मात्मका श्री नावद्वीप धाम की श्री श्रीवासंगन की श्री एक चक्र धाम की श्री शांतिपुर धाम की श्री गौरचंद्र भगवान की श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की श्री श्री गौर गदाधर जीव की Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Gopi Kapa Go Girgopidan Vrshad Vana Mak Shri Brajamandal Dhan ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Sham Kunda Ganga Saki Amana Saki Tulasi Bhakti Devi ki jai. जय वृषभान नंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय. श्री ललिता विशाख चित्रा चंपकलता टुंग विद्या इंदुलेख रंगदेवी सुदेवी अरि सखी वृंद की जय. श्री अनंग प्रेम मंजलाली श्री रूप लवंग राग विलस गुण रति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरिमंजारी वृंद की जय. श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय. श्री भगवती पूर्णमास योगमाया देवी की जय. श्री गोपीश्वर सरशिव महादेव की जय. राधा परंकित धाम श्री वृंदावन जय. जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र निर्माण की जय. श्री जगन्नाथ भगवान की जय. जय श्री दत्त गोपीनाथ की जय. जय शिल प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव स्थली की जय. जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय. जय सर्व विक्रम विनाशन कुरि भक्त विक्रम विनाश श्री इंद्र सिंह देव की जय. भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय. श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी सिंह देव की जय. श्री हरिराम श्री संप्रदाय श्री आचार्य की जय. श्री मध्वार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्य श्री आचार्य की जय. आकर मातरा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय. श्री गौरीमार वृंद की जय. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म श्री चैतन्य मंगल अरे सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जाय. श्री चैतन्य मंगल की जाय. जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जाय. त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जाय. त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलियुग दर्भ ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे महामंत्र किए जाए. श्री अनंतपुरी वैष्णव वृंद किए जाए. श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद किए जाए. जय परम ब्रह्मन परमा सत्यम परमेश्वर पति पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ श्री विशंबर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय. अखंड गुरु अदि गुरु भक्ति स्वरूप अवतार श्री श्रीमान नित्यानंद राम महाजान की जय. श्री नित्यानंद बलराम प्रभु की जय. जय वसुर जान वनिताय की जय. वसुर जानव जीवन नित्यानंद राम की जय. जय नित्यानंद तनय श्री बिरचंद्र गोस्वामी की जय. जय श्री गंगदेव की जय. जय श्रीमान अद्वैत आचार्य की जय. जय श्री मुकुंद की जय. जय श्री नारायणी देवी की जय. जय श्री चैतन्य भगवत की जय. जय श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय. जय श्री चैतन्य मंगल की जय. जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय. जय श्री प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय. श्री प्रभुपाद गौरी वैश्य की जय. जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. ओम वृंदायै तुलसी देव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय निताय.
Hari bol, everybody. Dandavat pranam. So, um, yeah. So tomorrow we will, yeah. Sorry. Thank you for letting me go overtime today. It's 8:43. Oh my God. But tomorrow we'll have an extra short reading. You saw what we'll be reading, so very short, hardly any commentary, and then we'll read about Lotran Das Thakur, whose appearance day it is today. We'll read from the book Chaitanya and His Associates by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. All right, that is all for today. Has anybody ever had Kejur Ras before? This is from our date tree. This is the second time in my life I'm ever having it. It's really good. It's
Made out of dates or
it's how did it come from the I mean it's not no, it's not from the dates. It's from the tree. I think kind of like maple syrup, like it's like from the tree itself, not from dates, but I don't actually know. Yeah, I've
So
always
it's
heard
like the
about it, but I've
syrup
never
of the
had it. And
tree?
it's more rare. It's not something that you could just easily get all the time, you know? It's like a more difficult, rare thing to get. So, yeah. It's kind of like coconut water, but a lot more sweet. You call it nira. Okay, Shubhanandabu says that they call it nira. All right,
Interesting.
so yeah. All right, so I'm actually they're all taking prasad out there. We actually yeah, so we have a bunch of sannyasis at our place right now. Well, three sannyasis, and yeah, and I think we're gonna actually keep this place. I heard last night. I mean, it's not official, so don't like repeat this, but I think this place might be called. It might be given the name Sajan Seva Gaudiya Mat, and this might actually become like an established temple because I was thinking that it was going to be sold before. So I think this might become a permanent thing, but we'll see. We'll see. It's all just like in discussion right now. But yeah.
Can we actually have maple syrup? Because there's a Bhagavatam purport. Well, not purport. It's in the actual Shrimad Bhagavatam itself that says that you're not supposed to drink the sap of the tree.
I remember reading that. Yeah, that was
And I
kind of
really like
disappointing.
maple syrup.
Oh my God, maple syrup's the best thing that's ever existed. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I personally didn't hear it from Prabhupada, but I was told he said it was okay. The maple syrup, that it wasn't.
That was one of the exchanges that.
No, I know, but he said maple syrup wasn't qualified as the sap of a bad sap of a tree, maybe, but I didn't hear it from him, and I don't remember reading it.
In order for trees to branches grow back and like that, I think there was certain things
Yeah, that was
in exchange for facilities.
for embryo.
This tastes like chocolate milk. Even though it doesn't look like chocolate, it really does though. Very interesting.
Like chocolate and milk. How is that possible?
I
I know it
know.
doesn't look something that would taste like chocolate milk. It really does though. Anyways, you
And
have
it's
to
made
try it.
from a date tree?
Yep. I think
Such
it's
a glory.
you have to drink it right away. Because Shubhananda was saying that if it's kept for a while, it quickly ferments, like it gets
It's
alcoholic.
alcoholic. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have, like as soon as you get it from the tree, you have to drink it. Otherwise, you get a little tipsy.
Isn't that once a year that they collect that?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's like a very rare thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is from our own tree.
Wow.
I didn't
All
really
right.
get that purport by Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada where he was talking about seeing Vishnu and the demigods like that. What was Prabhupada talking about there again?
Oh,
It-
He was
Wait,
saying like
in
something.
our reading today,
Yeah, in our reading today, something like seeing
give
the
me a keyword.
demigods separate from Vishnu, something like that.
I like in today's reading, I was not fully there because I didn't sleep very well last night because somebody was snoring super loud in our room. So, but wait, what's a keyword? Demigods? Oops. Kishore? What's a keyword?
Yeah. I think you should. You can type in Vishnu and then demigods, and you'll probably find it.
Vishnu. I can only type in one word or two words together because
Oh,
of speed.
Demigods, then demigods.
Demigods. Okay, let's see. Let me reside either in the realm of the demigods, the touch of desire, the touch of Haridas. No. The demigods, no. I, Lord Brahma, the other demigods, no. The forms of demigods other than Vishnu, that one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So here, let me share my screen again. And I gotta go soon after this because they're all taking prasad out there. They're calling me just. Let's see. Okay. Says. Okay. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. According to this verse, Sri Gaurasundar exhibits various forms of Vishnu, the embodiment of pastimes, to his various categories of devotees. From this, one should not think that Viśvambhara is not Vishnu. It is not that while seeing the deity forms of demigods other than Vishnu, that one should not consider them as forms of Vishnu. Okay, let me reread that. It is not that while seeing the deity forms of demigod other than Vishnu, that one should not consider them as forms of Vishnu. In demigods other than Vishnu, however, there is a lack of completeness. In the Śrīmad Bhagavatam 3.9.11, it is stated, okay, oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears. Okay, so I guess all the demigods are coming from Vishnu. They're all like, they perform different duties on behalf, like he has them. So in that way, they are non-different from Vishnu, but they aren't on the same level, something like that, right?
There's no completeness.
Yeah. They're engaged in performing different
Would it be
functions.
accurate to say that they're a part of Vishnu, but they are not Vishnu?
Yeah, would it be kind of like with the government, like the president of the United States? No, this is a terrible example, but whatever. I'm just gonna say it anyways. Like there's the president of the United States, even though Vishnu is a lot more than that. And then and there's a government, and you have all the different branches of government, and then you have like even the insignificant parts of government, like the people who clean the parks, they're doing government service, and so they're like in the government. No, that's a bad example.
They're part of government, and like that.
Yeah, they're
When
part
you
of the government in that way. Yeah, and so the demigods are like that. They're also part of the government, but they aren't.
but they're not the
Yeah. Anyways, yeah,
the
that
top.
was a very imperfect example, but I'm just whatever.
Well, Mathurā, we can't really find the perfect example, but something close.
Okay, I won't keep you any longer. But did you get that Caitanya-bhāgavata verse and Maharaj chanted like 2 days ago?
No, I didn't. He chanted it yesterday also. He's gonna chant it again tonight. I think that's just what he says. Whatever. I'm gonna first just listen to it and see if I could find it and Caitanya-bhāgavata myself, like find it in folio myself. And if I can't find it, then I'll ask him. I wrote it down in my book, so I will get to it. I had a very busy day yesterday.
Okay, I won't keep you any longer. Haribol, thank you for reading.
Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Shubhananda Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Sudevi Didi, Rukmini Didi, Rukmanjari Didi, Nitai, Haripriya Didi, Sudevi Didi. Oh, so there's a bunch of comments. I've been missing them all. Sudevi Didi says that you get Nira here easily. Oh, okay. And then Rukmini said, Khejur Ras is collected from the Khejur tree in an earthen pot, high up. So it's very high up. They get it? They make an incision and hang the pot strategically. Okay, so they make a little hole in the thing, and then they put the pot underneath, and it gets filled up.
So it is like maple syrup.
Manjari says maple syrup is tapped, but maple syrup. Ashti. Sorry. Yes. 1 second. Wait. But maple syrup isn't the sap of a tree, right? Then Śrīmad Bhagavatam, sorry, the Bhagavatam verse from oozing. Sap from oozing. Maharajami Ashti. Excellent. They, as children, used to make a slingshot to break the pot and get the ras. Whoa. It's tapped in the same way as Khejur Ras. Srila Prabhupada drank Khejur Ras according to Janani Vasprabhu. They made Khejur Gur out of that by boiling it and boiling it. Okay. Oh, okay. That's how they make Khejur Gur, by boiling this Khejur Ras. Everybody's had Khejur Gur before, right? So it's just this boiled down. Rukmini Didi says celestial bureaucrats. Okay. Rukmini Didi says, our father Rasaraj Prabhu said that all my comments about, Rasaraj Prabhu, that's Rukmini's father. He mentioned all those comments about Khejur Ras. Very interesting. It's like, it's not tapped. Huh. Interesting. There's a bunch of comments in the YouTube video on this if anybody wants to see. All right, I'm gonna leave because they've been calling me. So pranams everybody. See you all tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll end early also. Tomorrow will be a short reading. So, all right. Good evil.